Whāia te tika hurani. Ki te tuohu koe. Me he maunga teitei.
Protest is important to me because it's important to stand up and make your voice heard when you know that there is injustice happening. My name is Huriana Kopeke te aho. I whakapapa to Ngāti Pura, Ngāti Kahungunu ki Wairoa, Ngai Tūhoe, Rongo Whakaata and Te Atiha Nui a Paparangi, Samoa and Tahiti, Denmark and Scotland. I identify as takatapui. It encapsulates my non-binary identity, my sexuality and my Maori whakapapa. I came out when I was 16. I didn't want it to be a big deal. I just wanted people to know that this doesn't change me because I've always been this way. I didn't think that being gay and being Maori was something that could be compatible. I thought that I had to choose, and for a really long time I chose to ignore my Maori whakapapa, which is devastating. When I was 10, my dad passed away, so a really hard age to lose a parent, I think. When he passed away, I felt like my whole world kind of collapsed in on itself. I didn't know if there was ever going to be a point where I wouldn't feel so much grief.
There's been a lot of mamai in Huriana's life, but I believe that gives Huriana strength. And it's reflected in their artwork. It's reflected in their, at times, oversensitivity to kaupapa. And they feel stuff so deeply.
Art is a really great outlet for me because I find speaking things out loud really difficult. But if I can draw a picture or I can write something, it's easier to give that to people and be like, this is what's going on with me now. I draw on a Wacom tablet, so it basically is just like sketching on a sketch pad, except it translates to a computer program. I really love portraits, actually, because it's nice to be able to capture people. The basis of everything that I do comes down to a love of storytelling that was instilled in me by my mum. I think since I was a kid, I love to draw. I always found joy in creating things. And my dad was an artist too, so he had a beautiful voice, but he also did whakairo, and he was a very stunning painter. He was crazy talented. I was kind of like his little shadow.
I met Huriana at Equal Mata. I started to notice the images that Huriana was making. It sort of piqued my interest. And then I approached Huriana and asked if they would like to collaborate on this project.
The image is about Pākehā taking a seat and listening to marginalised peoples and finding a way to be comfortable about not being the centre of the conversation. My koro was a member of the Communist Party in the 1950s. My mum has done a lot of mahi around Māori sovereignty and tino rangatiratanga land rights struggles since she was 14. And so we have this very long history in our family. The 2004 foreshore and seabed hukui, my mum pulled us out of school and took us to Parliament. but it was exciting to see so many of us coming together. So that was really like the first major political moment in my life. The first protest movement that I was a part of here was prison abolition, sort of kaupapa with papa, People Against Prison Aotearoa. Got involved in the occupation out in GI to protest the sale of state housing, and the most recent has been the movement to protect the Huriana.
Today we're going out to one of the kaitiaki days at Huriana. They usually run them every Sunday. It's just like a working bee on the whenua. Today we're planting some silver beet, and there's food boxes. It makes you feel connected to the food that you're growing and the food that you're going to eat.
Huriana is very talented in terms of art and design, and has been able to draw in a lot of supports and help us think of things in a different way.
Being Maori has given me everything that's good in my life. A community, a sense of purpose. I had to go through some really difficult stuff to get to that point. Coming almost like home to myself has meant that my work has substance that it didn't used to have. My art practice is always aimed to prioritise the stories of people who are politically marginalised. For me, I think it's really difficult to constantly be making work about the trauma that our people go through. So I've always tried to illustrate what we could have instead of what we don't. How can we empower and mobilise our people to fight back against all of this trauma that's thrown our way? When people connect with my mahi, I think it's the most humbling feeling in the world. Being able to speak to other people's experiences in a way that they haven't thought about before and influencing the way that they think is just such a privilege and such an honour. Being able to represent people in a way where they feel empowered has really been one of the biggest joys of my life.
Whatu ngaro te tangata. Toi tū te whenu.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.